What's going on, guys? This is Justin bringing you UFC 142 predictions. UFC 142 is UFC Rio, Aldo versus Mendes, obviously taking place in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So, yes, the entire card is the entire card is at least Brazilians on one side. Um, just what my first couple of thoughts on this are, you have some really, kind of random names on the main card when you have bigger names on the prelims, which I find is, really interesting. I don't know how the UFC does this. Maybe they put these guys in the prelims to make it exciting. So the prelims aren't just the prelims. So you have guys like Sam Stout in the prelims, Gabriel Gonzaga, Mike Pyle. You have pretty big names in the prelims. But I am not going to do picks for the prelims. I will be taking Sam Stout to win, however. But let's go ahead and focus on the main card. We are going to start off with in the lightweight division, Edson Barbosa versus Terry Edom. Barbosa is 9-0 in his MMA career. He has 3 straight wins in the UFC. He just had that controversial decision over Pearson, which I did not agree with. If you go online and look up, I think it's like MMA stats or something like that, and you look up the Barboza and Pearson fight, it actually has Pearson winning that fight. But regardless, Barboza's still undefeated. Barboza, guy loves to use his hands, which is very interesting because you have Terry Edom on the other hand, who's a huge submission guy. I think almost all of his wins have been by submission, and usually when you get this, you get a standing guy and a submission guy. It comes down to, can the submission guy take him down? I believe that Terry Edom can take him down, and that he will in this fight by decision. Barboza, 3 straight wins in the UFC. If he is to get a win over Terry Edom here, it'd be huge. I just don't see it happening. I think Edom's going to get this one by submission. Moving on in the welterweight division, we have Eric Silva against Carlo Prater. Eric Silva's 13-1. This is his second fight in the UFC. He obviously won his first. This is Prater's first fight in the UFC, but he's had a lot of experience all around MMA. He's fought in the WEC. He's fought in tournaments over in Japan. He's fought some big names too. He's fought Carlos Condit twice. Beat him once, lost to him another time. He's also fought Melvin Guillard, who he lost to. Very interesting. They're both submission guys. They both have a lot of submissions on their resume. So, you get 2 submission guys. What do you get? You usually get a standing game. Unless one is the more experienced wrestler. Obviously, these guys both being Brazilians, great ground games, but not the greatest wrestlers. So I am actually going to take Prater to win this one. Like I said, he has faced Carlos Condit twice and Melvin Guillard. He has a pretty decent stand-up game, and I think that will show against Eric Silva in this fight. Next fight is middleweight bout. We have Rusumir Palhares against Mike Macenzio. Palhares has last couple wins over Dave Branch and Dan Miller. Pretty decent name, and he's fought some big names. He has losses on his resume to Nate Marquardt and Dan Henderson. Palhares, tons of submissions on his resume. If you look at it, it's actually pretty funny. When he started off, I think he had 5 or 6 of his submissions by heel hooks in his first 10 fights. So I am going to take Palhares here by submission. I think that he will beat Mike Macenzio, and Macenzio not doing so well as late. He's lost 4 of his last 7 fights. I expect that to be 5 of his last 8 after this loss to Palhares. Moving on, pretty big match here. Middleweight bout, we have Vitor Belfort coming off that win against Akiyama, that loss to Anderson Silva, against Anthony Johnson. Not a lot. We haven't heard a lot about Anthony Johnson. Obviously, he's been in the UFC. He's fought big names. He's lost to Josh Koscheck. But he has beat Dan Hardy and Charlie Brenneman in his last couple of fights. He's 12-3. Regardless, I am going to be taking Vitor Belfort in this one. He has a more experienced, obviously, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Not saying that just because he's Brazilian, that is his specialty. That is what he does. Anthony Johnson, primarily a striker, but he is a pretty good wrestler as well. But I expect Vitor to win this one by submission on the ground. And moving on to the featherweight championship bout, we have Jose Aldo against Chad Mendes. I will be taking Jose Aldo to win in this fight. I believe I picked against him in the Kenny Florian fight. Won't be making that mistake again. Jose Aldo fought so many, top 5, top 10 guys in the division. He's fought Kenny Florian, Mark Hominick, Uriah Faber. He's just fought a ton of big guys. Chad Mendes is 12-0. Obviously undefeated. But he has won his last 4 fights by decision. He hasn't stopped him, and he hasn't fought a lot of the big names that Jose Aldo has. He just doesn't have that experience. So we'll be taking Jose Aldo to win this one. By knockout. He's super quick on his feet. Great hands, great wrestling as well. So thank you guys for watching. Peace.